record on this computer. Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. My name is Jessie, and I'm one of the co-undergraduate representatives for UXTerps, and I'm a junior studying information science, as well as concentrating in health informatics and data science.
Hi, I'm Paula. I am also a co-undergraduate representative along with Jessie, and I am a sophomore majoring in information systems and marketing.
Fabulous. Okay, and so this meeting is now being recorded. We are good to go. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let's go to present. So this presentation is going to be for the third design challenge. And we're going to do a few different things here. We're going to introduce the design challenge for this week, intro to wireframings, essentially just the basics, what they are, what purpose they serve, and how we can actually use them to accomplish a variety of different design thinking exercises and activities. And so then we're going to go into examples of some great wireframes and then a walkthrough of wireframes. That is our workshop agenda. And so a reminder of the problem statement, the majority, actually, let me make sure, are we still closed captions? Can you see closed captions, Paula? Okay, good. Just wanted to check. So here's a reminder of our problem statement. The majority of Americans have dietary restrictions in some way, whether it's a peanut allergy, a gluten-free diet, or simply monitoring one ingredient in their diet. People must take special precautions to accommodate their own needs. However, it can be difficult for people to find options at restaurants or to communicate their restrictions to the restaurant staff. This is the problem we're interested in solving. And so we're asking for a few things here. Paula, do you want to share a little bit about what we're looking for in a solution?
Yeah, sure. So we were wondering how you might be able to address this problem in different formats. Could you create a technical solution such as a repository of restaurants that address different dietary needs, or a non-technical solution such as an overhaul of the menu? And so a, a sample deliverable that we want you to solve is to use a design tool of your choosing, such as Figma, Adobe XD, or Sketch, and to create as many wireframes as necessary.
Awesome. Awesome. And so we'll get into a few of the different tools that you can use, as well as what a sample wireframe might look like generally. So let's explore some wireframes.
All right, so to give you an analogy first, a wireframe is essentially a skeleton of the final product, and the actual content within the product is the muscle. So it's a low fidelity mockup or a blueprint of the digital product that you are building. They are typically two-dimensional and do not include any styles, color, or other detailed graphics. So wireframing is an important part of the design process because, as we have mentioned before, or as you may know, the prototyping phase helps you translate your designs into a full working product. And so they're important because wireframes help all stakeholders in the design process, such as the designers and programmers, to communicate the structure and visualize the final product before it enters the development phase. And so here are some of the do's and don'ts of creating an effective wireframe. So do use pen and paper and do keep it simple. Using pen and paper to hand draw your sketches are often the easiest and fastest ways to create designs and to make any changes if necessary. And it's easy to get distracted by making it perfect when creating a wireframe using a design tool. For keeping it simple, you want to include the bare minimum of details. What's important is that you have an overall direction for the user interface. And going off of that, don't spend too much time on the details. Since wireframes are only the foundation of the product's visual design, elaborate colors or other details should be added at a later step. And lastly, don't test your wireframe on your users just yet because the wireframe does not include any animations for the user to understand or to easily interact with.
Awesome, Paula. Okay. So fantastic. And similarly to what Paula said, wireframes are really not supposed to be perfect, right? We don't have to have perfectly straight lines. Nothing needs to be entirely aligned. The focus of wireframing is really to not just have the best design. We want to instead prioritize having artifacts that effectively convey information about what we want to create. And so the main goal is really to maintain clarity through simplicity. And they can help us actually plan how a user might navigate and interact with our product, since it is really based on user research. And because of this, wireframing is a fantastic way to explore how a user might interact with our interface. So we want to really minimize a lot of informational cues, just like Paula mentioned earlier at first, and simply develop a successful wireframe in black and white. Because ultimately, if we're relying on a lot of visual cues like color, fancy fonts, this might actually be an example of inaccessible design because some people might not necessarily perceive the differences, the contrast between colors, or what they might signify. And so if we're relying on this, we might not necessarily reach a lot of users, especially those who might have visual acuity issues or who are colorblind. So it's really, really critical to just focus on black and white at the very first, at the start of sort of this design process where we're using wireframes. So let's look at an example. Again, as you can see right here, we really want to emphasize that these are deliberately simple. As you can see here, I mean, we've got some pretty clear signifiers like this little camera, we've got a play button, we've got something that looks like a profile, but it's all sketches, right? And so we're blocking out, the important thing to note here is that we're blocking out areas. And so with this, we're able to actually fill those in later, but we're also able to sort of allocate space, which can be really beneficial in the design process for at least understanding what should go where and how we can order it. But again, it's in black and white with some of the key details highlighted in red, and the rest is pretty simple, right? There's not a lot of text. It's more so just blocking out particular areas. So as we can see here, it looks pretty similar to what we just went through, but it demonstrates a few key principles. So if you're new to wireframing in particular, or you have been doing wireframing for years, pen, paper, and a whiteboard might be your best friend, right? They are super easy to erase and to change. And especially with wireframes, we really are not concerned about making it pretty. We're just making sure that it's functional and that we could easily understand how a user might navigate through our site or through our interface. And so as part of this, we've sort of alluded to this earlier about how it's important to consider both digital and physical wireframes. We've mentioned a few different tools. We've mentioned Figma, Adobe XD, and Sketch. So those are all digitally based tools. And they can be really helpful for us as designers to explore how a user might interact with the interface through a computer, right? Which is really valuable insight. Then again, paper-based wireframes are also equally as important, especially in those earlier stages of product design where you want to erase things, you want to change things around, rearrange things. The latter can be just as conducive to that activity as digital wireframes, right? And paper prototypes might be really helpful to you particularly in the earlier stages. They can help us generally see, how a user is interacting with our product, and they offer the benefit of being tangible, right? So we can always switch to digital later to incorporate specific details and assets, because just like you saw in those previous examples, this is very basic and it's deliberately basic. But if we wanted to actually add some accents, see if we wanted to incorporate color later or other visual cues, that might be best on a digital wireframe, but it's ultimately up to you. So we've got a lot of resources for this lo-fi prototyping and for different wireframes. And so to start, we have a bunch of different wireframing resources for you to help you get started on this prototype. This list, if you just click on that link, will give you 35 different wireframing resources that range from definitions, what it even is, as well as some examples that are embedded throughout the text. And then if you're actually building it, that's awesome. And we're very excited to hear that. And if you're going with a digital resource, there's like Figma, there are a couple of different kits that can be really helpful for you that come for free. Same for Sketch. Sketch also has a few different resources that you can access here. And then if you want some more examples, fabulous. And we've definitely got a good resource here with several different examples that you can peruse to see what is most interesting to you. And so just as a reminder, we would absolutely love to see your finished designs or even unfinished designs. Either are great, so that we can give you feedback on them. We can share more resources with you. And the best way to do that is by sending us an email to uxterps@gmail.com. Or even if you would rather just send a DM to any of our social media accounts with your finished product, we would love to see it. The goal here is really not to have perfection, right? We want to see how you are developing your skills and celebrate the fact that you are developing your skills. So I'm going to stop sharing. And we're going to go like this. Okay, great. Absolutely wonderful. So that was our presentation. And again, just to reiterate, uh, please do send us any designs or any questions you have through UXTerps. And either Paula and I will respond with as much information as we can. Okay. Wonderful. And Paula is going to send out an email later on with this recording as well as the slides. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, wonderful, Paula. I think we are good to stop recording.